Okay, well, we are at the Black Spectrum Theater in Queens, New York. So I certainly want to start with Mr. Carl Clay. Now, you've been at this for about 30 years or more, we'll say.
It's a little more than that. We're kicking on 47 now.
47 years, and you don't look like you're a day over 30.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll take that.
You'll take that. Okay. Well, listen. Tell us a little bit about this wonderful space that we're actually here live today. So tell us a little bit about Black Spectrum Theater.
Well, you know, we started as a traveling theater company back in the early 70s. It was a group of young people who came together and wanted to express ourselves about what was going on in the community. And that energy, that desire to create and talk about our own community and how we could make it better was something that's really driven the theater towards creating works of pertinent social significance to the community. So our first productions like Black Love and 2000 Black, where the African Americans end up in the year 2000, even though it was in the 70s.
Right.
We were always thinking about our community in that context. So over the years, through a lot of different transitions and people coming and going and some really talented, wonderful people coming together who made sure that a theater like this could exist, we've been able to survive and flourish in the sense of satisfying the community's desire and need to have cultural activities go on. So we're doing theater, we're doing film and running programs and after school, and we have mobile stages that tour throughout the tri-state area to support other cultural events, and so we've tried to create an institution. That's been the mainstay.
Well, it looks like you've accomplished that. So how's it been received so far?
Well, you know, in some respects it's been well received because we're still here and people are supporting us. And then in other ways it's been bittersweet because we have a changing of the guard. The generations are changing, and some of the things that we held dear maybe 10, 15 years ago is starting to change. And so there is concern that we be able to let people know that, you know, our history and our culture is something that is so important for us to embrace as a community. I think our culture is the thing that keeps us healthy, that keeps us sane. You know, when you can sit next to somebody in the audience and see a play that really kind of gets you in the heart level, that makes you believe and understand that, wow, that experience is my experience, and because I know that's my experience, I can feel like I'm not the only one in the world feeling like that. And I think that's what these plays do, and our culture does for us when we can show it on stage and people get a chance to express themselves.
Terrific, and it's great to be in this space with you today, Mr. Clay. I also wanted to take a moment to just remind everybody we are in a live, functional theater space, so that they may hear some of the sounds, and that's okay. It's a working space, and we're very proud of that. Okay, because it could not be working or anything.
Yeah, we got to build those sets.
We got to build the sets.
Got to make that money.
Got to make that money.
That's right.
Speaking of which,
Making money.
it couldn't be a better segue to Mr. Angelo Ellerbee, whom I came across back in the 90s. We're not going to count those years, but we will say just a legend in your own right. I'm so honored to be able to have you on with us today. And I want to tell everybody, I mean, you have represented some of the biggest stars in the world. You know, just to toss out Michael Jackson and Alicia Keys, not to mention the legendary Miss Dionne Warwick, who, you know, you would have to say no more for me. But
You know what's really important that you mentioned? I'm now representing this theater, which is important to me. I'm now representing Carl Clay. And I'm representing my people that I see that needs to be seen. I see that needs to be seen. We need to take what we have, what God gave us, and we need to put it out there for the world to see the greatness in Black theater. Black theater is important to me. Why theater globally is important and accepted, Black theater is important to me. As though we celebrate today our first Black museum, this is a museum, this theater, for me. Because I see the struggle, as though that museum, you see the struggle, the apex, the success of our struggle. I see it here. And so when I come to be a part of something, it has to be a collective vision that is going to allow globally for people to see this institution, this struggle, this plight. And then as long as we have each other together in Black theater, we can continue to exist, improve, make changes, but we must become involved in Black theater to keep it being supported. Our Black directors need your love and their support. Your Black actors and actresses who are not getting the kinds of roles that they rightfully deserve and can do the job. So if we do not become the collective, we opt out to be nothing. And so my involvement as the publicist for this theater is to get the who, the whats, the whens, the wheres, and the whys out to the general public to simply say that this man has wrote books and over 100 productions, films. This is what people need to understand, that he didn't just lay a foundation today and come in as the executive and say, okay, he went up, he went down, he went up, he went, and that's been the elevator ride of our people and our culture. But the most important thing that I admire about Carl is that he stayed in the race. I don't care about where you finish, but as long as you stay in the race, you can always be a winner. It's your goal.
Well, I think that is perfectly said. And Angelo, we're going to talk more about you. Well, first of all, we are honored to have everybody. And we're going to talk a whole lot more about Mr. Carl and a whole lot more about you.
Wow.
You didn't get off that easy.
I'm excited. I'm excited to know about me.
Yeah, well, listen, we're happy, and there's some things I want to talk about as well. What can I say about the legendary Wayne A. Smith from Irvington, New Jersey, was the former mayor. Well, you were the mayor there for 12 years.
Longest serving mayor in Irvington's history.
Absolutely. And you're not just someone who was a part of the political process and just kind of went off and we never heard. No. You've been instrumental in being a very important part of that community and also helping us along the way to understand a lot of the political times. We really were kind of, we weren't that familiar with it. So you've been helping for us to
So my wife tells me you take all that public knowledge that you got as mayor and you monetize it and make sure our mortgage is paid.
And we have to shop. She's a wonderful lady. Yeah, I love that. And she's in our area here. So this is really fantastic for all of you. And the reason that I wanted to catch each of you on camera, because you all are legendary in your own right. You've all been at this for, I'm not going to say over 20 years. We'll just say 20. I know it's a lot more for all of us here. But, you've been at this a long time, and you don't realize necessarily the impact that it has on our wonderful audience out there. So I wanted to capture this and its power.
Thank you.
So I thank you so very much today. Now, Mr. Clay, just to swing back in your direction, you started telling us a little bit about this wonderful place, this wonderful theater, Black Spectrum Theater in Queens, New York. What are some of the folks who passed through the doors, and remind us of the current productions that you guys are working on?
Well, first and foremost, we're in the process of putting up a play, Two Trains Running by August Wilson. And that's some of the noise that you hear in the background. We're busy at work putting the set together. It's going to be directed by Beth Howard, our resident director here. She is really the rock of the artistic process of this theater. And she has just given so much to so many actors. And the kinds of plays and kinds of folks who have come through here is just, it's unbelievable. People like Desiree Coleman, who then went on to star in Mama, I Wanna Sing.
Of course.
I remember being in my office when we were there on Linden Boulevard, and Mr. Whitfield Sims, who was the director of our youth company at that time, they were auditioning. And, you know, everybody has a chance to act and then sing an excerpt of a song or something.
Right.
And that afternoon, you know, this young lady, I'm not even looking out on the stage at that point, but I'm doing something. The young lady started singing. I was like, what? Who the heck is that?
Right.
You know?
And I went to see her in that,
Oh, yeah,
so
she's
I know.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I can speak on that.
And she was always a big supporter of the theater. So Desiree Coleman, people, you know, like Carlos Burke, who was with our theater company for many years. She recently was on the NBC TV series Crowded, which had a short life, but she got a TV series on NBC and has been in a few Steven Spielberg movies. The names Debbie Burrell Cleveland, who was on Broadway and Dreamgirls, started here at this theater. It's just so many people.
So what
The
has
names
it
goes
meant
on
to
and on.
you to do something like this, to help launch these artists?
Well, it's been life affirming. I mean, it's the kind of feeling you get when you feel like you've really helped someone move along, and that's what it is. I mean, this theater's been a nurturing place, and today if you go outside, you'll see on the wall it says nurturing a new generation of artists for the 21st century, and we really mean that. And that's that phrase came along a little later on in our development, but it was a result of looking at what we had been doing. And you know, when you turn on your TV set today and you see a African American actor or actress working, 9 times out of 10 they came out of a place like a Black Spectrum Theater. And so it's just been elevating, I'll say, and it keeps me going. It keeps me going to know that folks have had a chance, and not just in the theater world. We have doctors, lawyers, folks who work in all kinds of fields who've come out of here and become just, I think because of this experience, they've just become better people.
Amazing. Well, I love what you said about nurturing talent. And so I don't think you can get a bigger name in nurturing talent than Angelo Ellerbee in my book.
Thank you very much.
And so, Angelo, I have to ask you now, I know you, I'm hoping and praying that you'll be able to tell us a little bit, something about this big project that you have coming up soon. You know, but tell us a little bit, for the folks out there, everybody knows the folks you represent. Everybody knows their names. And just for you to take a moment to document this and to share some experiences with us, what can you tell us today about some of the projects and things that you're working on right now?
You know, I'm thankful, first of all, and I have order to God, who is always going to be first and all in my life. And each and everything that I go to do, I ask him to oversee, supervise, and or manage it. And with that comes winning results. He didn't say that he was going to create a rose garden for me. He said, if you plant a seed, Angelo, it will grow. But you can't water it one day and not water it the next day. So as I go about, or has gone about my life, in creating opportunities for the young who wanted to enter, or wanted to enter into the music or entertainment industry, I had to give them maturity pills. I give them 2 imaginary maturity pills. And I would say, take 2, 1 in the morning with a big glass of water, and grow up and understand that this is what you asked to get, this is what you said you wanted to do. This is not what I have a career. Now, what you put in is what you get out. And if you put nothing in, you get nothing out. And if you want to go on, because my first book was called What's Your Excuse? Don't give me excuses why you can't get to the next level. Don't tell me your sad story about your education and your 5 children and your wife. I don't want to hear it. Those are excuses. So what I want you to do is to grow from it and take your maturity pill. Thus, that's what was given to me. My wonderful, adoring mother gave me those maturity pills. And she gave me a table of contents. And she said, you better have my money at the end of the month.
We can all relate to that.
Yes.
It is so real because it gave me discipline. It gave me the opportunity to create programs for young people who were coming from single-parent homes. I was able to create a program, 24-week artist development program, tailored to these young people from my mother's teaching. Millions and millions and millions of dollars off of this 9th grade education that she had, that she instilled inside of me. She never thought that who would want 20th Century Fox do a story of my life, and for Judith Reagan to buy my book rights. And it goes on and on and on. This is a little guy from Newark, New Jersey, who set a goal, and a very high goal. The goal was to make my mother happy. That was my goal. And I think somewhat I've accomplished that. But what I'm saying, and the bigger picture of it all, and I'm going to bring it right back to this theater, this is exactly what they're trying to do here. They're planting seeds. I don't care how old you are, they're planting the seed, and they're allowing you to grow and to be a part of the growth of a company.
Absolutely, and we cannot say enough about the Black Spectrum Theater here in Queens, New York. We're looking at doing something which kind of leads me over to Wayne Smith, who is, again, the former mayor in Irvington, New Jersey. So a lot of folks know that name, and they know a lot of your work. But speaking about possibly, not even so much possibly, but we're going to sit down and really kind of pull this together. I would love for us to produce this wonderful new show right here in this amazing space.
I think that's fabulous. That I love the fact that this is a very intense interview, and I love the fact that you are a young playwright outside of doing what you do. And my mother used to say to me, if you want to eat, you got to open your mouth. I love the fact that you do it on camera. I love the fact the Carl has to sit here and shake his head and say, yeah. I love the fact that you can reflect back to that camera. Yes. So when you come back with your play, yes. You got Carl.
Yes. And we're excited about this. And this is wonderful because Carl was able to take us on a tour of the Black Spectrum Theater and to see this beautiful space that you have, and in my book, you've covered everything. So that's what I'm going to say. And in saying that, I want to invite folks in, as I'm sure you feel very passionate about that. One of my favorite spaces that you've shown us today, and I love everything I've seen. But one of my favorite spaces that that I feel resonates with me is that museum that you have. And so I just want you to take 5 seconds, tell the folks why this museum space that's nestled, in this great area here, why it's so important.
I'll tell you, as a good friend of mine, for many years, he's passed away now. Andy Gill said to me once, many years ago, he said, when your time is over, when our community's time is over, when they open those vaults up 20 and 30 and 40 years from now, when they open the vault on our community, on your life, what are they going to see? And that always resonated with me. And I realized that, many times in the theater, we do shows, and after the show is over, you can't tape them, you can't really document anything. There was a very gifted photographer many years ago I sat down with, who had all of the pictures from Black theater in his apartment. And his name will come to me in a minute. I got to hit my head to remember it. But incredible photographer. And he passed away, but he had a fire in his apartment. And all of these negatives, all of this work was destroyed. And so, again, that always resonated with me. So this idea of how do we preserve and show people, show children and young people when they come through here, how do they look at something, maybe they get inspired, maybe it sends them off of a tangent of looking up and researching something they never knew about. You know, oftentimes we hear the thing about his story, you know, the word his story.
Right, exactly.
Our story doesn't always get told. And when it is, it's always changed in a different way. We did a play called Deadwood Dick, Legend of the West, and it was about black cowboys. And what a lot of people don't know is that he was a real person, but years later, he became a white guy as Deadwood. Okay?
Wow.
And he was really a black guy.
Wow.
So, and then I thought about it, and you know, and this, maybe this will resonate. When we talk about Michael Jackson and, you know, a person that he represented, and you talk about history, you say, oh my God, well, 100 years from now, will they have flipped the switch on this and suddenly he wasn't what he was? And so I think it's important that we set up these places where you can go and research things. So that's why it grew out. And when I spoke to Ruby D, before she passed, she came in and she cut the ribbon on that little museum that day. And she really couldn't come out that day. But we said, Ruby, it's not going to be anything without you coming out. And she came out that day.
Wow.
And she cut the ribbon on it. And so that room was blessed by Ruby D. And
Doesn't get any better than
and
that.
it's not a big room, it's not some big, you know, place, but it's a place. And you know, so we hope that it inspire people.
I think it does. Okay, well listen, I have to say, this has been such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to come here and be part of this whole experience. So we're real happy about that. Angelo, I've got to say, the fact that you are working so closely with this wonderful theater, and your upcoming play, just tell us again what the play is that we want
Two
everybody to
Trains
come and
Running.
see.
It's one of August Wilson's best plays, one of his most exciting plays. Takes place in the 60s. I think the characters in it, you're going to love these characters. You know, the thing about August Wilson's work is that he is spot on with IDing people that we all know, that we grew up with, that we say, oh, that's my
right.
uncle, that's my aunt, or that's
That's
you know,
me.
yeah, that's me, you know, or you know, that's me. I remember so and so. So he elicits that in us, and so we're just excited about this play. And the play is being helmed by, really, to me, one of the best directors in New York, Ben Howard.
Yay, Ben Howard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, keep us, you know, in tuned and what's going on. Come back and, you know, as often as you like, and, you know, we'll do some more behind the scenes. And
Sure.
we'll grab a few of the
And
folks.
please talk to
Yeah.
some of these wonderful actors we have, people like, you know,
Yes,
Sean
give us
Turner
some-
and
yes.
Douglas Turner, Doug Wade, who is,
Uh-huh.
these are phenomenal actors who share their talents here and their creativity, and we're just excited that they're a part of this production.
Okay, now, Carl, I want to just tell everybody the website where they can get more information.
www.blackspectrum.com.
Oh, sounds good to me. Okay. Angelo, we're going to ask you just to kind of, you know, give us that wonderful, no one can say it like you can. Tell us, you know, why, about the inspiration of a place like this, and just, you know, and what's also next for you. I do want to get
It
that.
reminds me of home.
Mm.
You know, I think if anyone ever got into understanding the makings of Angelo Ellerbee, they'll know that I was an actor first and starred in Bubbling Brown Sugar, created and danced for Alvin Ailey, designed costumes for the 1980 and 1982 season. Theater is my life. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Did it, but didn't do it and stay there in it. When I see anything that is black, anything that looks like me, and it makes sense, then I want to be a part of it. I want to be able to allow young people to have a lifestyle of something that they would be appreciative of, that they would be excited about, that they would want to come in and learn everything that they possibly can. And I think what I find here is that this is a haven very much to what Barry Gordy did. You know, how he trained people and how he wanted a better life for them. You know, for me, in many respects, I think the work that Carl has put into this is a Barry Gordy kind of thing. He had to oil that machine, and he had to give everybody a chance. You know, I wish that I was here from the beginning, but as I peruse the facility and I see all the wonderful people that have come, when he tells me the story about the children and the children programs, when I meet and greet the actors that are out here working their everyday jobs and coming here giving up their time and their energy and their efforts, not just in acting, but in production, it tells me if we just all came together, and I'm gonna be one by one, and lift each other, help lift this theater, help to support this theater, wow, wouldn't it be just a wonderful, it would just be a safe haven that Black people, Black actors and actresses, and directors and people in the performing arts would have a place to come and to be a part of, and to share ideas, and to have nothing but productions. Play after play after play after play. But then you, the community, have gotta come and support it. It should be jam-packed every night, because it is us doing what we want to do and working at excellence. So I can only want to be a part of something that offers something back to a community of people. This is not a selfish company at all. It's a very giving company. And it's giving the opportunity for us as a people to go and grow by. Yeah?
Doesn't get much better than that. Wayne Smith, I have to say, well, first I'm going to ask you, when you're in a space like this, and you think about your upcoming show as well, like I said, we're going to do everything we can to have it put on right here in this wonderful theater that seats over 300. And what goes through your mind?
Well, you know, there's a nexus between our politics and our culture. And so culture drives our politics. And so if you look at the museum and you look at the kind of performances held here, it's a real relationship of where we go as a community of people. So as we launch the African American Museum in Washington, we have a slice of that right here in Queens. And so we and Angelo and I were talking, we've got to make this a regional company now. Because between New Jersey and Pennsylvania, this is a jewel. And so I'm sure collectively we'll do all that we can to promote it. So I'm just honored to have the opportunity to take a tour of the facilities. It's incredible, the sense of history and the things that they're doing to keep the arts alive. While school budgets across the country are cutting arts out, they're still educating kids about our arts and our culture. So it's just incredible.
Doing all of you, you know, like I said, you guys are legends, each of you.
And so Angelo forgot to tell you, so I got to do this. I'm going to be his volunteer publicist today. He has a book coming out.
Oh my God, he does? Oh my God, I totally forgot that. Thank you so much. Yes, I do have a book. That's why you're my good friend. But, yes, I do have a book coming out.
You do.
And the name of the book is called
Ask
Angelo. And I also have a radio show that kicks off on the 15th of October.
Woo-hoo.
And the radio show, my first guest, I call it We Are Family. So it explores the life of the Houstons, the Warwicks, the Elliots, and the Drinkers. It's all, and I get a chance to talk to Dion's granddaughter, her two sons that are music producers, Sissy Houston, and a couple of the members of the family. And so it's I really want to put the radio show out there so people can grow by. This is not about me. This is another avenue to enrich, to educate, stimulate, and provide people with knowledge, very much to what my book is about.
Well, we will be buying that book.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you so very much.
Absolutely, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about the book and some of our upcoming shows and all of that. You know, you're part of the family and the fabric of what we do
Appreciate that.
here radio. So.
And I'm going to make sure that I give my publicist over here
a raise.
Yeah, a raise. I'm going to.
And we're going to make the book available. We're going to make the book available here when people come to the theater. And so at intermission, they will be able to come and get a copy of the book and all that.
Look at this PR people. You know what?
Can I get my book in already?
Come on. Keep it moving. Let's get that money. Get that money.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, listen, gentlemen, I have to say, this is really about excitement, too. So I thank you so much for allowing us at Air Radio to be part of this experience today.
Thank you.
Also want to thank my wonderful, wonderful sponsors at Salon Interiors. They are the folks who are doing some amazing custom work, and those folks here, the work being done here today. But yeah, the custom work in building salons and barbershops and all of that for our community, and I'm really excited. And then of course, my tech guy here, Rashid Hafi, so we're so excited, who works and helps us out with these recordings. And I'm going to be doing a few things with some of the other folks here, and I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to be with you today.
We thank you.
Thank
We
you.
thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Very good.
Great job.